Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight's January 3rd. Our first meeting of the year. Happy New Year to everyone. And I will call to order the January 3rd, 2019 meeting of the Wilton Town Board. And we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Here. Director Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Stryker.
Here.
Councilman Bogartis. Deputy Supervisor Lamb.
Here.
Councilman McEachran.
Here. Okay, before we get into the actual agenda, last month, our longtime dog control officer and his wife, Ron and Joan Sunsey, indicated they were going to be retired at the end of this month. So I would like to recognize them tonight, and I do have a couple of awards to present to them. If Ron and Joan would step forward.
We're going to give them a box of dog biscuits.
Milk bones.
These two folks have 62 years of service in the town, by the way. So, first, I think, I have a special trophy, if you will, to Ron.
Here it comes. This is gonna hurt.
This is deep appreciation for the town of Wilton for your service.
Believe me, the dogs are not big enough, though.
But this is the real fact that for both of you. And you notice we have a nice dog on the side.
Yes.
That's the town of Wilton. And presented to Ron and Joan Sunday by the Wilton Town Board in recognition and appreciation of their combined 62 years of service as dog control officer and deputy dog control officer. The Town of Wilton Town Board and the residents of the Town of Wilton congratulate you on your retirement. So there's a pun here, which you can thank Nancy Riley for. It's pause to enjoy life, P-A-W-S.
That's really nice.
So we thank you for your service and enjoy your retirement.
Just really, go ahead.
That Barney has supported us always over these last 30 years, and we really appreciate it very much.
All right.
Tough job.
It just feels very funny being unemployed now. All the years I spent with the highway department and the DCO, and now
File for
I don't have a
unemployment.
job no more.
File for
Now I'm just gonna have to
unemployment.
go fishing and golf. Meet you out the golf courses. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first order of business is a public comment. Julie, is there anybody signed up there? Oh, we have a few. First is Nancy Gatlin, Timber Drive. Nancy, come on up and...
Nancy Gatlin, 28 Timbera Drive. I have a couple of things. First of all, I want to say kudos to the town of Wilton and the Bicentennial Committee. It was a fun year. The events were terrific. They did a great job. I think I missed only one event all year, and I know how much work it was for them, so it was wonderful. My other thing that I would like to is really a question. On Timbera Drive, there is a lot that's been for sale for years, and the realtors who are selling put up their posts and their signs and come and go. Well, the last one that put up, it's Paul Bowers from Berkshire Hathaway, put up a sign and just knocked over the old one. And the old one's been sitting there for, I would say, 2 or 3 months now. It's an eyesore. It looks awful to anybody coming in. I mean, if someone's selling a house, they look at this mess. I want to know, is there anything that can be done?
Whose sign is it?
Huh?
Whose sign is it?
Well, Paul Bowers of Berkshire.
No, whose is on the ground?
On the ground, Aubrey
Contact her.
Aubrey Gorey of Howard.
All right, never mind.
That's kind of a weird lot. I think it's Marcus here, I think it's an approved lot, but it's been hanging out there.
Yeah, Aubrey was,
He was Faroons, they don't have the lots anymore, or I don't know.
I'll go grab the sign.
Yeah.
It just looks awful. It's been there for,
Thank you,
I would
Mark.
say at least.
You can take care of that?
2 months.
Thank you.
It looks terrible. Thank you.
Want me to call you tomorrow?
Jeff Hurt, 6 Manchester Court. Hi, Jeff.
Jeff Hurt, 6 Manchester Court. As a Wilton resident and parent of 2 children in the Saratoga City Schools, I just want to thank the board for considering the school safety resolution that you're going to vote on tonight. I would hope you guys pass it, and that's all I say. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Cara Rossetti.
Hi, my name's Cara Rossetti, 25 Fenimore Place. I started Saratoga Parents for Safer Schools. As most of you are aware, if you're following in the paper, Saratoga Springs took away all of our security for our children. So I thank you tonight for reviewing this and looking to pass it like the Saratoga City Council did, as well as Greenfield did a few weeks ago. It's our mission to get security back to every school so that we do not have a Parkland tragedy or any of the other school tragedies that have happened over the years. So thank you.
Thank you. Eric Rosenberg.
You guys all look so pretty tonight. I just can't get over it.
First meeting of the year, we always look at.
Yeah, just beside myself.
Still wouldn't dance with me.
What?
Said you still wouldn't dance with me.
Yeah, well, it's a different issue, I guess. You would have tried to lead. Eric Rosenberg, 16 Crawl Lane. Hey, that doesn't count in my 3 minutes, by the way. I just wanted a couple of points I wanted to make tonight. One of the points I've made a number of times is my concern that a lot of things in this town are still being run like they were a long time ago. And, as the town grows up, there's certain things that just have to change. Too many times I'm told, the few times I do get an answer, the answer all too frequently is, well, we've always done it this way, and I don't see any reason to change. And that's never really a good reason to continue to do anything. And there's 2 things that sort of fall into this, one of which I hope you guys will change your minds and do something about, and a second thing that is a concern. I wrote everybody a letter about a town planner. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what the issue was. Ryan does a great job, and every time you hear about Ryan's so busy he can't even whatever. The fact is that we're too big and too busy and too much development to try to rely on one person to basically two different jobs. And I really want to encourage you all to revisit this issue. What happened at the planning board meeting was an embarrassment for this town. And we should not be saying to the developer, why don't you plan what should be going into the hamlet? I mean, it's just, guys, it's time. The other thing is the new no town tax thing. I was over at the mall. But one store, Bonton's gone. Sears is going, lots of vacancies. We use the no town tax thing. I mean, it makes for good politics, but the reality of the matter is it only works as long as we keep getting the sales tax and we stay a low service town. Another thing, at what point does the town just become too big not to have more of a police presence? two officers from the state troopers occasionally patrolling the town, at some point just isn't going to be enough. And just, so, again, something to think about. We need to figure out what's going to happen if the sales tax starts going away more and more. Just real quickly, I've also written you guys recently about 421 Northern Pines. I don't know if Mark Schachner's looked into this, but there has got to be a solution to an extreme situation where this guy just refuses to clean up his property. And I can tell you that people talk to me, they know what I'm doing here, and this property is always the first property they talk about. It needs to be cleaned up. We need to figure out a way to do it. And you guys are the ones that have to either pass a different ordinance or something. Please.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, getting into our regular agenda. The first meeting in January, we have a series of organizational resolutions that we need to pass. You've had them for a week or more. They run from resolution number 1 to number 60. We can pass them as a group, but I have one suggestion I would like to make on resolution 21A, and that's to table 21A. 21B and C are fine. But for tonight, I'd like to table that particular to another time. And is there any other?
46.
Oh, I'm sorry. On 46, the hourly rate for our town attorney should have been $210 instead of $200. So I'd like to ask for that amendment. You okay with that, Mark?
We never use it, it doesn't matter.
I know. Are there any requests for other amendments?
I've got one. I'd like to amend Resolution 12. I don't think we need to pay for a cell phone for Mary Celica, recreation leader at Gavin Park. I think there's a landline phone at her desk. There's landlines at Gavin Park. To me, it seems like a waste to pay an additional cell phone for that person. And also, Kurt Haas is a recreational maintenance. You know, that phone was assigned to him when he worked nights. He's not working nights anymore. And to pay somebody's cell phone for the year in the absence of one just seems ridiculous as well.
Okay. Is there any other questions on any other resolutions that you received? You corrected the fire department?
I did.
Okay. So, if there's no other requests for amendments, is there a motion to adopt resolutions 1 through 60 with the amendments proposed by myself? Well, to table 21A and the request by Councilman McCachran to modify 12.
Taking those two phones out. Okay.
I'll make that motion as written.
I'll second it.
Do you know what 21A is?
21A is the appointment of the planning board chairman.
And is there a list somewhere that we, after the meeting, that we can see the different resolutions?
Is there, Sue?
No, I didn't, but they're usually in the minutes when we go through them.
I guess they're in the minutes, Eric.
We got a copy of it.
Have mine if you want them.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Who seconded that one?
We don't need them.
Dwayne, I print off my own copy.
Dwayne did one and John.
Yeah, I second it.
So we have a motion and a second with the tabling of 21A and the amendment as proposed by Councilman McCachran.
And also Mark Schachner's corrections in there.
Oh, and Mark, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Okay, we,
No, Art, I'm sorry, just for a question, there's no name in the planning board one, is that?
that's because I'm tabling it because we're not appointing anybody tonight.
I'd like to be considered, by the way.
Okay.
Is he on that board?
You gotta be on the board first.
Then what would you do with your free time?
It's a way to get me to stop giving you a hassle at the meetings, maybe.
Okay, we have the minutes pending from the December meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the meeting.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any requests for changes or amendments to those minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so moved. Number 6, Ryan, do you want to go over that, setting the public hearing on the demolition and removal of structures at 157 Jones, or you want Mark to
Yeah, I'll
do
let
that?
Mark, he's been handling this, so he's here to discuss it.
Come on up to the mic.
No, I don't think I need the mic. Gloria Torelli died last year, unfortunately, in her home. The circumstances were the tub had been running for a week before they found her body, and it rotted out the floors, and now we're starting to get some collapse in the home. She was also a little bit of a hoarder, as documented with the photos. So we're looking to remove that. It's like a 1960s mobile home from the property, and then there's a shed that's falling down. That also. To clean up the property. Right now, there's all kinds of food, and open containers, and things like that in the home that are inviting some rats.
So this is the process that we have.
This is the process we have for the removal of the home.
There's obviously nobody living there.
And nobody's living there. It's an unsafe structure, but it's also, the doors are open on it. They're locked down.
Yeah. So, Mark, is this one where we go take it down and clean it up, and it goes back, the cost goes back to the property owner?
Correct.
Taxes. Lean on the taxes.
Back to the tax roll.
And you're required to have a public hearing as well.
Correct. And the public hearing is part of that requirement.
And the county does pay us back for that. The county will pay us back for that.
Yeah, it goes back on the county tax bill. The county makes us whole and they foreclose whatever.
So I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for demolition of structure at 157 Jones Road.
I'll second it.
Yeah, I did drive back there today and looked at the property, and it is a very big concern in our fire district.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that will be
starting
February
fires.
7th.
What day?
February 7th,
Yes,
7
so-
PM.
So there's a motion and a second to set the public hearing for February 7th at 7 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, item 7, in February is the annual Association of Towns meeting. I am the voting delegate I have been the voting delegate for the town, and then the alternate has always been the town controller. So, number 7 is to delegate me as the delegate, the voting delegate, and Maria Moran as the alternate.
I'll put forth a motion to have Maria Moran as an alternate and our Supervisor Johnson as the voting delegate for the
Second.
Association of Towns.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 8, relocation of 2019 polling place for districts 1, 6, and 9. I think this is proposal, and Sue can add more to this, but it's to move the polling place from the court building to the senior center. And we're adding another district, right, to that?
No, this is for the 3 districts that vote at the court building, and
Okay.
due to construction, and it could overrun, so we just want to make sure it's easier to do it now than wait until the job is taken too long.
Because we're going to be
Will it be official even if the building's done?
Yes, they would
So no
still
matter
do it, no
would
matter
be-
what, we would have the
All right.
poll in place, yes. The county did say they prefer a consolidated voting place, and that Gavin Park, Jim Reed did say that Gavin Park can hold all the districts.
Yeah, but
If we
that's too
chose to
far
do
to-
that.
No, that's too far for people to drive.
So for 19, we're proposing just move the same districts to
Yeah.
senior center as opposed to the court building.
They won't hold court that day.
No, they won't be in the court building. They're going
The
to
seniors won't hold court that day.
Still, we'll move it from 20 Traver Road to 18 Traver Road.
I'll make a motion that we relocate the polling from 20 Traver Road to 18 Traver Road for the calendar year 2019, to revisit next year.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because I think you might have seniors just showing up here and not being able to and not going nowhere to go, so I think it's smart overall.
That's District 1, 6, and 9.
Correct.
Yes, 169.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, next, Saratoga Springs Consolidated School District Safety Resolution. We had a couple of folks talk earlier about that, and it's something that most people probably have been following, where the Saratoga Springs School Board made a decision to disarm the monitors that they've had around the school, and I think they ended up with one SRO to serve the entire school district. Other towns like us, we have schools outside the school district, Greenfield, Wilton, and the other ones, even on Caroline Street and others, where it's only the high school that had monitors. So this resolution, which has been supported by the County Board of Supervisors, the other towns, that would...
Great idea.
Support the school district going back, first of all, going back to arming the monitors that were there.
Good job for stunts.
And also for the adding SROs. I talked to Sheriff Zerlo earlier, and they're in the process of signing a contract with the school district that would provide an SRO for Maple Ave and Dorothy Nolan. But it still needs to be more to be done. So, if you want, someone who wants to read the resolution,
I'll read it. All right, I'd like to make a resolution in support of increasing the safety for the schools. A resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Wilton on school safety. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Wilton is responsible to provide for public safety, health, and welfare of all individuals within the Town of Wilton. Whereas it is essential that the Town Board of Wilton support all measures of security to the students of the Maple Avenue Middle School and the Dorothy Nolan Elementary School. Whereas the Town Board is willing to work with the Board of Education of the Saratoga Springs City School District to find a reasonable solution for security needs of schools in our jurisdiction. Whereas the Town Board is in support of retired police officers that are ground monitors to be allowed to carry weapons in the line of defense to protect students. Whereas the Town Board is in support of adding additional school resource officers to all schools, the school district, which includes 2 schools in our jurisdiction. Whereas the Saratoga Springs Board of Education recently discontinued the ability for school grounds monitors to carry firearms, resulting in only one SRO remaining to serve the entire Saratoga Springs School District, including the Saratoga Springs High School, the Maple Avenue Middle School, Caroline Street Elementary School, Division Street Elementary School, Dorothy Nolan Elementary School, Geyser Road Elementary School, Greenfield Elementary School, and the Lake Avenue Elementary School. Whereas the Wilton Town Board is in an effort to ensure that all children in the school district are provided with a safe environment in which to learn, wishes to work together with the Saratoga Springs School District, the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors, and the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office towards a plan which will, again, permit appropriately trained and certified individuals to possess a firearm while on school grounds, including, but not limited to, the potential expansion of SROs to all schools within the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Wilton Town Board stands ready to work with all agencies to provide a safe and secure environment for all staff and students of the Saratoga Springs City School District. Be it further resolved that pending the development of such a plan, the Town Board respectfully requests that the Saratoga Springs Board of Education reconsider its prior determination and allow for trained, educated law enforcement and retired law enforcement personnel to carry firearms for the benefit and protection of all students, staff, and administrators.
I make a motion, we accept this and send the Board of Education our feeling on it.
I'll second it.
Motion in a second. Eric, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, this is a pretty important issue, and it's a pretty, an issue that a lot of people have. Two things. First of all, the assumption is that, and again, I don't know the answer to this, I'm just saying the assumption from the resolution is that having more guns on the campus will solve whatever security concerns. So the question is there any proof, do you have any reports, any documentation that that is in fact? And the second thing is, this is a pretty important issue, and perhaps maybe people in the town should really have an opportunity to speak to this issue that's very political in nature, and a lot of people in Wilton probably didn't know this was going to be on the agenda, and I think it's, again, a situation where I encourage the town board to reach out to the people of Wilton, the people who live here, to get various points of view before you vote on something that is kind of a political hot potato.
Well, you know, there's been plenty of meetings in Saratoga, and they all were in the newspapers.
You have your head in the sand if you don't know about this issue.
At the Board of Education meetings, the town of Wilton has been well represented by town residents.
This is not about guns. This is about response time.
It's about safety, protecting our children.
This is about response time. Most school shootings happen between 4 to 8 minutes. 16 to 20 kids can be shot and killed along with the teachers. We've seen that over and over again in every school shooting. We've foiled the sheriff's office. We've foiled the city police department. The average response time for the city police department is 7.7 minutes. That is dozens of children killed. It is not about guns in school. It's about if there was an assailant coming in with a gun, that we have a quick response time to save our children's lives.
It is to stop it also, so they don't even think about
I don't
it.
want to open this up to a public hearing. I mean, it's a safety issue. I think, I don't know how anybody could object to protecting our students. And
Plus, they've been caring for many years.
And it's not new news.
This isn't new. It's just a reinforcement of it.
There is another side.
An off-duty police officer
There are
is...
legitimate objections.
Well, this resolution doesn't require a public hearing. It's up for vote tonight.
Or sometimes, you know, whether it requires a public hearing or not, you know, sometimes, hey, reach out to the people who live here and see what they think on these issues. I'm not suggesting it's a bad resolution or a good resolution. I'm just suggesting that it's a political enough issue that, you know, again, just why just once again steamroller over the people who live here and say we're going to vote on something that's a political hot potato.
The school board did it.
I don't care what you say.
The school board did it.
You know, everybody...
They didn't have a problem with it.
I'm not at the school board.
Everybody on this town board was elected by the people. We have a voice here, and people chose to choose all of us who have certain moralities.
Hopefully, it'll go to a
ethics.
public hearing.
And that's why they...
At the
that's why-
school board, and everybody will have their chance to chime in. And
Everybody-
to see how important it really is.
Everybody...
I think they made a decision that
Right. Again, we're not
put our
debating,
kids in jeopardy.
but everybody who's going to be authorized to carry is a police officer or a retired police officer.
This is a
Same
decision-
gentlemen and ladies that you meet every day on the street. It's not any different. And I am not going to sit here and be the one that votes no against a safety issue where a child gets shot. I would much rather live with your criticism than some child losing his life.
There you go.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I am not going to sit here and be questioned on my...
None of us are.
I had
None of us
kids,
are.
we all had kids. I'm not going to be questioned why I support all these people's kids being safe in school. All right? Gun issue is a big pro and anti-gun thing. Granted, this is not about anti-gun. This is about the safety
And it
of
shouldn't
our
be
kids.
political, it should be about our kids.
Should be about their safety, everybody's safety in the building.
Anyway, we have the resolution that's been offered and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
We're good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, next, there's some amendments to the, our employee handbook. Let's see what, I know Sue had sent out the amendments, to you. The first is, the election to participate in the health insurance, one of our health insurance programs that we offer. There was a prohibited conduct policy, that was sent out. The new revised sexual harassment, workplace violence policy. The complaint form for someone that felt that they were discriminated or had been harassed. And the last one was the health insurance summaries of which program they decided to go to. You have those, John? All right. There's two additional ones that were not on the original list, and that's there was a requirement for leave for cancer screening.
They're all required by the civil service law.
Right, so, but it changed it to add other types of cancer, other than that was originally in the civil service law. That was tax law section 159B. And what was the other one, Sue?
The two we've got here. So,
The labor class.
the labor class employees covered under...
Under section 75 for hearing rights.
Yep.
So those are all proposed amendments to our existing employee handbook. We sent them out at least a week ago.
Yeah.
Everybody-
Reports on it.
Yeah. Most of them are just typically having to do with our health insurance, and there's nothing really, well, there is that new sexual harassment,
But that's all law now,
that's the
too.
state is
That's all
requiring. We
state
had the
law.
training for that about a month or so ago.
So it says added no recording. Where is it?
That's
307.
It's a small blurb like this.
At the bottom of the second page, added audio or visual.
That's the one with recording.
I just didn't actually read it, but we're good.
Any questions on any of those?
No?
That required a motion, too?
Yeah.
You got it?
I'll put forth a motion to add the amendment to the employee handbook.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other questions, discussion on those amendments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next is committee reports. Any committee reports?
I got something. Going back to 157 Jones Road, do we got a law on the books we can do it this way?
Do we have a law?
Yeah.
We do, yes.
All right. 421 Jones Road, we got a law on the books where we can go in and clean that up and build them?
No. I've asked Mark to...
Well, I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but Eric is right. He's a pain, but he is right. That should be cleaned up. And that isn't the only piece of property in this town. You know, if we have to start all over again with Mark Macon's summons him, going to the town to get this done, because a few of you cleaned that place up 2-3 years ago.
I did.
He's never done anything. This illness he has, whatever, that place was a pig pen. 6 months after he moved there, he started collecting. It's gotta be taken care of. We have to, I talked to Mr. Shackner, if we don't have a law, we should have a law where we can go in, our highway department, or hire somebody to clean it up, and just bill them on their tax bill.
Yeah.
It's gone too long, and there's gonna be another one and another one.
Yeah.
We should
I
have some
agree
type of law on the books we can move in.
Yeah, I actually started working with Mark a couple months ago in anticipation of this and pass a...
Because we all know he ain't gonna do nothing down there.
He can't.
He can't.
He physically can't.
Well, he keeps bringing the stuff in, so he's physical enough
Somebody
to bring it in.
is. Somebody
Somebody's
is.
putting it there.
I don't think he is.
Because we cleaned it, it looked good, and then all of a sudden,
Well, I guess, you know one thing,
I'm not cleaning it
you
again.
didn't pick enough up that day.
He filled 2 dumpsters.
So went back the next week.
The
If I
semi-truck.
may add, he threatened to sick his dogs on me when I was out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really...
No, you're right, you're right.
The dog with
No
3
one's
legs bit me
disagreeing
while I was there
with you.
cleaning the place.
I had talked to Mark about
Call them left.
looking at a local property maintenance law that would allow us...
About it?
What?
You talked to this Mark about
Yes.
it? Because he's, you know, he is pretty good at rating.
I know that, and it's a problem, and we need to put a property maintenance law on the book. We tried to do it a couple of years ago. The town board at that time was not in favor of doing that. What I would do is...
I think they are now.
I know.
Well,
If
I'm
you
a
let
little
me
bit...
finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What's he talking? It would be similar to what we just did with 157 Jones Road, where we determined that we can go in there, clean it, goes back on their tax bill. It's a very similar law. It's a property maintenance bill. I've already had Mark look into other towns that have passed it.
There's towns, if you don't cut your grass, they cut it and charge you.
So,
Well, I hope we don't get to that point. There's a lot of homes out there. I've had people complain to me about homes, and I see it, and I don't see anything wrong with it. So there's some extremes. Some people don't like their neighbors. They see some junk out there. They're calling the town. I'm like, that's not really appropriate. I don't
It ain't
think
the
there's any
case
problem.
here, though.
I know, I
It's not
understand
the
that,
case
but I'm
here.
saying there's a person calling me about a house down on Ballard Road. I look at it, was all art on their property. Guy was building art. I had people complaining, saying that they thought that house should be removed and the junk taken away. So everybody has their own.
Just part of the fun of being on the
yeah. It'll just give us more leverage to do this. You know, right now we have a process, but it goes to the courts and it has been dragging on. This will give us leverage to go in and clean it and not wait for the courts to make decisions.
We'll get paid to clean it next time
And
we do it.
it's been recognized and it is working on.
What about 402 Northern Pines also?
All right, just be happy with one victory.
It would apply to all the
Apply
properties.
to all of them.
I thought I'd throw that one out there and just...
No, we didn't forget that one. I did say there's many others.
So,
I have one more. I have one.
16 crawling.
you have what?
I have another committee report.
Oh, okay. All right, that one's over.
That was John's.
Okay.
Cool. I paid my building permit and I moved my trailer.
This was given to us by Operation Adopt a Soldier, certificate of appreciation, awarded to the town of Wilton. thank us for sponsoring and honoring our veterans at the buffet brunch. So they sent this plaque over to us.
Very nice. That's a great organization.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
I got another one.
You have another? Okay.
We approved money for picking up appliances for this year.
Yep.
So why don't we, maybe you could work with whoever's going to do it, get some dates, maybe like in the end of March, beginning of April. I've got to work out with the Sheriff's Department about the medicine, whenever we want to do with the old medicine. That's important. I think we should get working on that. And be ready, like, as soon as winter breaks, get it done.
Yeah, the only company around that will do that is County Waste. I've already been in touch with them. They are going to come up with a price estimate for me for sometime in the spring. It would be a schedule it would be over several weeks.
The roadside pickup in front of the residents.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but they have not got back to me yet about the price, but we put money in the budget for that.
But, anything I'll bring it up, I won't be here next month, I'll be in Aruba.
It won't be in January.
So sorry.
It'll be in...
I had my passport, I'd be with you.
Yeah.
6 months.
When we did the organizational resolutions, I inadvertently did not mention the different liaison appointments, which I normally do. So I want to go back to Ryan Riper being the liaison to Wilton Water and Sewer and the Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park. Nancy Riley, the Insurance and Personnel Committee. Councilman McCackern, the Highway Department. I know you're going to love that again.
We're not switching up this year?
No.
Got me again for another year, Kurt. I'm going to need a meeting with you after this one.
John Lant, I'm going to reappoint him as Deputy Supervisor along with his liaison to the Courts and Justice Department, the Safety Review Committee, and the Personnel Committee. Councilman Walgardis will continue with the Are You OK program, our seniors, Americans with Disabilities, and the Town Historian. And Councilman Stryker has his hands full with the Park and Recreation Department.
Sounds like we got the two important jobs. We only get one.
All right. Any other committee reports? None. Okay, Maria? Yes. The first report for the year?
Yes. So our first 4 items are just pulling money from our contingency line to fund overages in various other accounts that experienced shortages. The 5th line is our Trails program. We're just reallocating resources that are in that department, but between 2 different accounts, just to kind of realign for what was budgeted compared to what was actual. The next 3 lines are, actually 4 lines are pulling money from our permanent improvements. Available resources are being used to cover shortages in those other various items that you see there. 2 of those, items 6 and 9, have already been approved by the board. They just require board ratification tonight.
Make a motion to approve all budget transfers 1 through 9 with ratification of 6 and 9.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Our second item is for personnel. There is the annual codes conference that's being held in Lake Placid from March 3rd through March 7th, and 4 members of the town are requesting to go to fulfill their required certifications. They are listed here: Scott Harrington, John Hurley, Marcus Hart, and Mark Mikens. And they're requesting that the board approve that trip.
This is the same conference you go to get your certifications every year.
Who's going to run the town while all you guys are gone?
I'm making a motion to send all 4 of them.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
As long as he picks that sign up tomorrow. As long as he picks the sign up tomorrow, we're good.
Okay. Well, that concludes the agenda. So, anyone? If there's no no other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.